This orientation video is going to talk about how to get into your math program. So for returning students, this is going to be very similar as it was last year. For students moving up from the middle school to the high school, if you use the My Math book and the ConnectEd McGraw-Hill website, this is going to be the exact same program. For new students, our math program that we will use is called My Math. So you will go into the My Math program using the link. Let me move this over so everyone can see it. The link is here on the screen. The teachers will also give it to you in class. You're not able to click on the link from the recording. When you log in, you will see this similar, hopefully for most of you, login page. It says ConnectEd with a little house, and you will look for your class. Your class will be depending on which math teacher you have. So if you have Mrs. Kroll, who is me, you might be in one of two classes, and you would look for those class names. Your teacher will give you specifics for where to go. And a lot of this will be also reviewed in your math classes once we get into our regular schedule, once orientation is over. So please don't stress or worry about this information if you're not quite sure, because you will hear it again in your specific class. If you were with us last year and you're a returning student, your passwords should work. So it will be a number, a fruit, and a shape. It's easy to remember once you have it. The also really cool thing about it is you can use the same password to get into your science, your Redbird writing program, and your reading program if you're going to use the reading program this year. So it's pretty simple to remember, but certainly one you want to write down, especially if it's new to you. Again, your math teacher, your reading, your science teacher will give those to you in class. We're not going to do it at this time in the recording. All right, and then once you get in, you've put in your password, you've gone to the link, you'll see Agora Cyber Charter School at the top, and it'll kind of list all of your classes. You'd have to scroll down to see all of them. This is what the math grade 3 view would look like. Here's what the math grade 4 would look like. You would just look for the book that says My Math. So it would either be green if you're in math 4, it would be orange if you're in math 3, and you could click just where it says launch. And then when you log in, you'll kind of see a home page. You might see a video here, some resources. Let me move my screen over again. You might see some resources up here. You might see any homework that is assigned to you down here, and you can click the More button to go to the homework. Move my screen again. You can also go to the menu page to get to your homework. You would just click menu and then homework. And the funny thing is you go under due later. Even though it's due for you in class, you have to find it under the due later tab. And again, we'll get into specifics with that in your math classes, but you will have assignments in here, especially if you're in Mrs. Kroll's math classes. We use My Math a lot. You will have homework probably 2 times, maybe 3 times per week, depending on how fast we move through the lessons, but it is a requirement to work outside of class along with working inside of class. Your homework will all be in this program. Again, if you have Miss Welsh for math or Miss Capitano for math, they might do things a little bit differently. I also teach math, and I primarily use the My Math program. Again, more specifics about the class and how your homework will be assigned and where to go will be given once you're in that class. This is just kind of an overview of the program. One thing that's really cool in the math program, the My Math program, is there's a glossary. So if you go up to your menu and you click the menu button, which again is these 3 little circles here that say menu, if you click on them, this little drop down will pop up, and you can click glossary, which is right here, and it has a glossary a word bank of all different math terms. So if you don't know what a term means, you can go and look up the first letter of that word, and it'll give you a definition. Sometimes it'll give you a little picture, and it will even read it out loud to you. So when you're working in the program, anytime you see this little speaker icon, if you click on it, it will read it to you. So that's a nice feature. It's right here. You click on it, it'll read it to you. There is also a reader on your computer. It's not in the same location that that picture I just showed you was in. It's actually to the side of your web address bar. So your web address bar is like where you type in www.google.com. If you go all the way to the end, you should see something that looks like this. That is a talk to text feature. You can click on that and highlight questions, and it should read it to you. There's a couple different ways to get to the reader on your computer. So if you have any trouble finding that or knowing where that is, you can contact your homeroom teacher, and they can help you work through that also. Also in your My Math program is an ebook, which is really cool. So you can actually see the workbook on the page. If you just click the ebook, it'll pop up on a new screen and load the book, and you can work in there as much as you want. It will not save your work, so keep that in mind, but it's a great place to go for extra practice anytime you want to. My math class will be getting a paper workbook sent to their home that you will have assignments to complete inside there. Miss Capitano's and Miss Welsh's class, they might be a little bit different, but if you have Mrs. Kroll for math, you will be getting a actual physical book sent to your house where you will be required to do some work. But there's also a virtual book online in your math program. You just hit the ebook and it'll pop up for you. And let me show you again kind of where that shows up in your program. When you log in, it's kind of hard to see, but when you log in, you see that video, that main page. The ebook is actually right above your lesson resources. It's actually right here. It's kind of cut off in this picture, but that is where your ebook is. So when you log into your My Math program, whether it's the Math 4 or the Math 3 or the Math 5 or higher, the ebook would be right above the lesson resources. And that is some place that you can go and do extra work if you wanted. It is really a great thing to have. And if you need more help finding that, again, I would be glad to help you. I'm sure your teachers, once you get in your math classes, can help you too. And that is all. So if you have questions, feel free to write them down. Ask your teachers once you get into your math classes if anything specific comes up, and we are so excited to get into this program and for you to make your math brain stronger.